Shalom, Yasha'Allah, Shalom, Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, Wamalaki Harashah, Wawaka Kadash, Atazawal Kabal Kabayim, Mashquan, Wakwa Mesha'Allah, Ahabatam, Akim, Wa Akwa, Isha'ak, Matamika, back at it with another video, man. Amen. Today, we're going to be going into some history, and we're going to be, kind of going into some prophecy today. You understand? It took me some time to meditate on this breakdown, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemi Hawashah is the only reason why we're going to be able to bring out a video like this, okay? You understand? Because at certain point in times in your life, once you grow in this truth, the Lord is going to, if you're really holding yourself diligent, the Lord is going to put it on your spirit, you understand, to start seeking out prophecies, to go into the deep, dark things. The deep, dark things are old, okay? And it's good. The Lord is going to put it in a certain man's spirit to actually want to go in and to get into the deep things. Because on a deeper level, hey, we are our forefathers, man. We have forefathers like Daniel, Ezekiel, you know what I'm saying? Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezra. We have forefathers like this, you understand? So at the end of the day, you should be spending some of your time always staying in the milk. But it's always good to do this. Sirach 39 verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients. So on a deeper level, when you actually meditating on the precepts and the law and all these other things, you understand? When you actually on fire, you thinking about these things, and you can't help but to look forward and start hastening until the second coming of the Lord. Okay? It's bound to happen. When you meditating on the law, when you meditating on the precepts, you understand? It basically said, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients and be occupied on prophecies. So that man who's also of course is occupied by the milk, is occupied by the law. He's also going to be He's also going to be occupied by the prophecies. Okay, so let's go to the book of let's get that in the book of Hosea. Now, I like to make my videos like exhortation style, but, also we're going to be bringing out a lesson that's going into prophecy and mostly history. Okay, let's go to the book of Hosea. Salakia. Let's go to the book of Hosea, chapter 12, and verse number 10. It reads, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions. So the Lord is going to speak by the prophets, man. The prophets, and your prophets nowadays. What we do on a larger scale, on a majority wise, we bring out the prophecies of old, because some of these prophecies that the Lord put on prophets to put right in the scriptures has not been fulfilled yet. Okay, so let's read on. It says, and multiply visions and use similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. You understand? So the Lord is going to multiply these visions by the prophets. The Lord is not going to come to you and tell you, okay, this is your abomination of desolation number 1, and then this is how it happened verbatim. No, He's going to make that man go precept upon precept, so he can look at this breakdown and be like, wow, this is where all this spiritual wickedness is coming from. This is why when you look at the rich elites, when you look at the Masons, when you look at the government, when you look at these things, wow, this is really where they get it from. I've been knowing that America is set up similar to ancient Rome, but okay, the Lord said, hey, this is an abomination of desolation. That was one. That was number 2. Oh, okay, so this third one, hey, I can see it coming. You understand? Now, these deep, dark prophecies that I like to get into, hey, they hold a lot of weight, because you can look at the history and also align it to the future. You understand? But nonetheless, let's get into it, man. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 8, and verse number 11. Right? It says, Daniel chapter 8, verse 11 says, I beheld then, Salakia, Daniel 8 and 11 says, yeah, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Okay, now what this person that's being lifted up is who? Is Esau. So when you get into these deep, dark prophecies, it's not really that deep or that dark. But when you're getting into deep, dark prophecies and all these other things, you can't never forget the precepts. You can't never just lose your mind and just start, your mind just, shift gears and you think it's talking about something that it's not. You always want to keep the precepts in your mind. You always want to keep the laws of the Lord in your mind, which is really the precepts, okay? Now it says, yea, he magnifies himself even to the prince of this host. Now this is talking about the so-called white man. Because we know through the precepts that the so-called white man is the most powerful man according to the Lord. But why though? Let's go to the book of Genesis. Let's get his beginning, man. Let's get the beginning of Esau. Right? Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40. Because you got to understand, like, when you're going through the precepts, the so-called white man is the only man that's going to be lifted up so high. He's the only man that's going to be damn. Look at all he got, man. Look at all the buildings. Look at how he can manipulate the elements on the left-hand side to the limited amount that he can do. Right? Look at the SARS. You understand? Look at the MK Ultra. Look at the predictive program. Look at all of these power. Look at all of the power that the so-called white man have on the left-hand side. But let's get it out of the Bible. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 40. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Right, so Esau, he's going to live by the sword. Now, what we just read is a blessing. You understand? It was one of the blessings that the Lord gave Esau. And one of his blessings was that he shall live by the sword. Now, let me jump back. Let me jump back. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27, and verse number 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. The so-called white man, he's in America, he's in Germany, he's in damn Netherlands, he's in damn South and North Dakota. You understand? The so-called white man is everywhere, man. The little so-called white man has colonized the whole earth. That's what it really means by his dwelling is going to be the fatness of the earth. Because the Lord has put it on the spirit of Esau to constantly take over kingdoms, to constantly indoctrinate kingdoms so they subdue themselves under the so-called white man. Now, let's put it in a realistic level. When you walking around day to day, look at this so-called East Indian man in a suit and tie with a clean-shaven face. Look at the Asian man driving around in a Porsche Panamera, you understand, with a suit and tie on, just like the so-called white man. Well, on a deeper level, man, the Lord has put it on the spirit of Esau to have everybody in this land indoctrinated and drunk, man, on a massive level. You understand? And the Lord continues to put it in their spirit so they can continue to deceive the nations. Okay? Let's get there real quick in the book of Jeremiah. And we're going to come back to Genesis 49, man. You can't make this up. This is literally what's going on. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 7, the classic. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Okay, so Babylon, which is symbolic to the so-called white man's kingdom, which is really Esau's kingdom, okay? Hey, they make the whole earth drunken. On a realistic level, just look around you. Look around you. Why does everybody live the so-called lifestyle of a white man, man? Why does everybody go to work, clock in and clock out like the white man? Why does everybody wear the suit and tie like the so-called white man? Why does everybody do the the handshake like the white man? Why do they always do the handshake like the white man? Why? You understand? Because he have indoctrinated the whole earth. You understand? He made his way of living to overcome all of these other nations. And we're gonna get to that in a second. But this is how we can go in the scriptures and we can see in real life time that even from Genesis, we can see it. We can see who this man is. We can see who's being talked about. And this is important because this is going to help you help allow you to move in wisdom and understanding, oh, okay, this is Esau. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm here right now. And this is why these people act like this. So once I know why these people act like this and I'm supposed to be acting like this, okay, maybe this can help me get out of oppression. Maybe this can help me get out of the captivity. Maybe this can help me, you understand, move with wisdom. And understand, hey man, they do all these sacrifices on the left-hand side in wicked high places. Hey man, I gotta continue to make sacrifices unto my God to the best of my ability that I can. Okay? Now this lesson is gonna have your mind. Yeah, it should, Lord willing, that it have your mind in a place to where as though you gotta start taking this thing serious. You gotta start making more sacrifices unto the Lord, because they make even more sacrifices unto the devil on the left hand side, right? But we're gonna get into it. Now let's read this again in 27 and 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So Esau, he has the dominion over the whole earth for a short season, okay? You can go to the book of Revelation chapter 20. I tell you, hey, this devil is only going to have dominion for a short season. And on a deeper level, the Lord told us be faithful for a short season. You understand? There's many precepts we can go to about that short season. All right, so let's go back to the book of Daniel. Okay? Let's go back to the book of Daniel, chapter 8. And I want to read where I left off at verse number 11 again. Salaki, I don't have a lot of space on my lap. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemir Shah. This is Daniel chapter 8 and verse 11. Matter of fact, let me get one more. Man, and I'll just quote this in Genesis chapter 36. You read about Esau's sons. And when you go into the Hebrew of Esau's sons, like Eliphaz and all of them, when you go into the Hebrew of their names, Esau literally named his sons after a carnal ass mentality. Meaning like, my gold is my God. Meaning like, man, Esau, he only worships the things of this earth. So even on a deeper level, before you go back to this in Daniel, when you in this world, meaning you don't really take the Lord serious. You don't really take the laws of God serious. You're not in the mode of repentance. You understand? You're not in the mode of actually seeking the Lord's face and actually reading your scriptures. You understand? You're not constantly having yourself around godly men. Hey, you're on a... Damn, I forgot what I was about to say. But on a deeper level, you're really sacrificing unto the devil on the left-hand side. You're really making these carnal things your God. You're breaking the very first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. When you live this so-called lifestyle of Esau, you trust in your guns, you trust in your cars, you trust in your money, you trust in all these things that's carnal and physical that really don't mean anything. But when you come into the knowledge of the truth, you start to lay up your riches in heaven. And you walk around this earth, man, like none of this shit really matters, man. None of this really matters. But I wanted to make that quick point. Now, let me get one more precept in the book of Daniel chapter 5 and verse 18. Daniel chapter 5 verse 18 says, O thou king, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. So even from the time of Nebuchadnezzar, you understand? From the 400, you know what I'm saying? From thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, you okay? Hey, even from then, the Lord was giving them the fatness of the earth. The Lord was giving them dominion, glory, and honor to be praised from all of these nations on the earth, okay? Let's read on. Verse number 19. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he would slew, and whom he slaked, and whom he kept alive, and whom he would he set up, and whom he would he put down. So the so-called white man, the point of me bringing out these precepts is the so-called white man, he has dominion over this earth. So that's the reason why he's so lifted up. Look at the so-called white man. Look how he has dominion over everything. Literally everything in America is owned by the so-called white man. So this is what it means by he's lifted up. Now, the point of me bringing this out is that you have to realize this so you can move with wisdom, man. Realize this so you can realize, okay, damn, my nation is really at the bottom. We're really at the bottom of the totem pole, okay? We have some rising to do. Okay, maybe I should start taking this serious. That makes more sense. When I look at it from a nationwide aspect, hey man, we not making it. Okay? Let's read on. Verse 20. But when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened in pride, and that's the so-called white man. He's lifted up and he's very prideful. In your day-to-day basis, I can almost guarantee you this. In your day-to-day basis, if you walking around, you know, you ask the so-called white man, you ask him, hey, how's your day today? How's it going? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? How you feeling? He's going to say, I'm living the dream. He's going to say, I can't complain. He's going to say, hey, something about heaven. But most of the time, they're going to say, I'm living the dream, man. And that's true for a so-called white man. So, hey, right now, to be a so-called white man, you're in your kingdom of heaven, man. The Lord gave you dominion over this earth. The Lord gave you power on the left-hand side to do whatever you want, basically, okay? Hey, this is why the Lord gave, you know what I'm saying? It was the blessing from the beginning. That we already read it. Their dwelling place is the fatness of the earth. Esau can go wherever he wants. Look at the rich elites. You understand? Meanwhile, we at the bottom of the society chasing money, trying to get a bag, making money our God. The rich elites that have all of the money, they have no need to work for the money that they have. Money literally means nothing. Okay? So when you actually learn about this, and you learn about how, okay, the so-called white man, he's lifted up. He has the dominion. He has the honor and the glory of these nations. Okay? Once you learn this, you got to come to your mind and understand, like, wait a minute. All the money that they got, they don't even work for it. But meanwhile, I'm at the bottom, and I got the Amazon. I got the McDonald's. Okay? I got the lot attendant. I work at the dealership. Okay? I drive the trucks for his company, man. While he sit back and smoke cigars. You understand? And have sex with other men. And do all other kinds of wickedness behind closed doors. Meanwhile, I'm making money, my God. But really, come on now, okay? That's the whole point I wanted to get at. Let's read on. It says, but when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kindly throne, and they took his glory from him. Read verse 21. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart, right? It says, in his heart. I'll stop right there in verse 20. Right? Let me get one more precept, man. Let me go back to the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 11. Right? So, what this is talking about when it says, hey, his heart was lifted up in pride, it's talking about the so-called white man. Now, Daniel 8 is going to directly align with this in the book of, in the book of 1 Maccabees, the first chapter. And I'm going to read, I want to start at verse number 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Now, wait a minute. Why can we read in the Bible about a so-called white man having his kingdom, but he's writing decrees to where as though everybody is one people? Let me get a precept real fast, man. This is literally what they do today, man. Everybody's one people. Don't they say one nation under God? But why can't we read about this in the scriptures about Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth? Okay? Let me get the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Okay, so, hey, when it comes to these so-called white men, they're going to continue to do the things of their forefathers. They're going to take on those traits. They're going to reap the benefits, you understand? And you can see this on a realistic level. Don't the so-called white people, don't they have white privilege? Why? Because they subdued this country in all matter of rape, robbery, and murder, okay? Chiefly robbery. They robbed us of our nationality. They pretend to be us. They robbed us of our goods, as we read about in Deuteronomy chapter 28. And they reap the benefits, and they have white privilege, okay? They have white privilege on the left-hand side, man. Now, when you go to the book of Lamentations, chapter 5, and I believe it's verse 4, it tells you, hey, we reap the iniquity of our fathers. So meanwhile, they have white privilege, and what we got? We got depression, anxiety, sorrow. You understand? Hey, our lives hang in doubt. You understand? Our lives is hanging in doubt before us. We go through the curses. So just the same way we reap the punishments and the iniquities and the chastisement of our forefathers, the so-called white man, he reaps the benefits. Okay? He's able to flourish in the society. He's able to walk in the society and not have a damn problem at all. He's able to fare sumptuously. Okay? That's the so-called white man. Now that's what the Lord set up to happen. Now, upon me reading this, everything that has been is that which shall be. Right? So we can go all the way to the time, I believe Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth, he reigned in like Salakia, if I'm getting the wrong number, but it's somewhere from 330 BC to 292 BC. Brothers can fact check me on that, Baba Gashar. Salakia, if I'm not having it on the top of my head, I should have wrote it down. So forgive me for that, Baba Gashar. Salakia. But it's somewhere from 200 to 300, somewhere in that range of BC. You understand? Before Christ. Now the point is, this is 1 Maccabees 1:41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Okay? He wrote that all should be one people. Now, what does this mean? That means that his kingdom, he wants everybody to be one. He wants no more division. He wants no more sovereignty. He wants no more separatism. Okay. Now, really, from the foundation, the Lord ordained this to be. The Lord don't want us to all be one nation. But the point is, hey, the so-called white man, he's gonna go left of the Most High because he believes he is the Most High, and he's gonna try and say, hey, we can all be one people. We can all go by my rules. And really, what that really is dividing and conquering. Because you're gonna divide this people from this people. You're gonna divide them from being them, and I'm gonna conquer you all. That's really what this is. And that's really what they do today. They divide and they conquer. Okay? They divide this people from this people. They make us think that us and Hispanics is not the same people. Us and so-called Jamaicans. You understand? Then when we come to the knowledge of truth, we end up learning, hey, we all one nation. But what did the oppressor do? He divided us and he conquered us and made us think we all just one people. Now you got the so-called Hispanics. They trust in the white man on a mass level. They're trusting the so-called white man more than we believe trusting the white man. And you're okay. They hold on to their Catholicism and their white Jesus. Okay, and this is something they do. Let's read verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws, Salakia, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. And this is what they do on the left hand side. Man, everybody leave your laws. Let's keep the laws of America. This is what they do, okay? They make it okay, but they don't do this. How do they do it? They push it through the media. They push it through the rap music. They push it through the social media. They push it through the entertainment system, okay? They push it out, man. It's not by chance that you see what you see on social media. It's not by chance that you see what you see on TV. It's not by chance. They do all these things on purpose so they can continue to control the minds of the people. That's what it means by everybody's going to leave their laws, man. We don't keep the laws of God, and that's our laws. We don't keep the laws of God, man, and we should be. But instead, the so-called white man, he made it seem like, hey, we can all just keep the laws of America. We set these laws up, they're going to be good for you. Okay? This is what they was doing. Now, let's go back to Daniel chapter 8 and verse 11 real quick. Because remember, we're touching on this is all leading up, you understand, to the very first Salakia, Abomination of Desolation. Salakia, I'm usually quick on the sword, but there's not a lot of space. Please forgive me for that. The Lord willing, the edification still go out. But this is the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 11. Yea, he magnified himself even to the Prince of Hosts. I mean, this is the so-called white man. He's lifted up in pride. You can read about that in the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24, man. If he not the devil, who is he, man? Let's read on. It says, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away. Now let's read about that daily sacrifice. Let's read on. In verse number 43, it says, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. So many of our people, we do what? We sacrifice unto idols. Okay, we profane the Sabbath. The Sabbath is really from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, but our people don't keep that. Our people rather go and freak off and have fun on Friday nights. Okay, Saturday during the day, we go out shopping, we go out to eat. Okay, that's what our people do when we profane the Sabbath. And then also we sacrifice unto idols. Right? Our people is burning sage. Okay, our people is lighting up the Christmas tree. Okay, our people burn the idols. Our people burn these blunts, these fugs, these cigarillos, these cigarettes, these blacks. Right? These are all things sacrificed unto idols. Our people do this on a massive level. Right? And it all started by what? The decrees and the abominations of the so-called white man. This is your abomination of desolation. Let's read on. The first one. Let's read on. Verse number 44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judea, that they shall follow the strange laws of the land. Right, so a part of the so-called white man, damn wicked counsel, he's gonna want us to follow the strange laws of the land. Because the laws that we have here in America are very strange. Damn near homosexuality that's legal. That's strange, man. Damn pedophilia, they let that slide by the massive amounts. Hey man, that's strange. Okay? Many of the laws of this land is very strange. Allowing swine's flesh to be broadcasted on TV for consumption is very, very strange. Here it is. You got a whole chain restaurant entitled Red Lobster, man. That's very strange, okay? It's strange for our people to be allowed to do these things. Right. Let's read on. It says in verse number 45, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. Okay? And so a part of them setting up this abomination, which we're gonna get to in a second. A part of them setting up this abomination is that we can't sacrifice even unto our own God no more. Okay? And during this time, when we actually made sacrifices, was before Christ came on the scene. So we made actual physical sacrifices unto our God. That means we what? That means we actually had an altar. Okay? Let's read on. Verse number 46. And Salaki. Verse number 46 reads, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Okay, this is the sanctuary. Verse number 47. Set up altars and groves. It reads, set up altars and grooves. Salakia. Right? It reads, set up altars and grooves. Salakia. Forgive me for that. Set up altars and grooves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they shall also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. Right? And our people, we forgot the laws of the Most High. The Lord told you that in the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6, man. Because thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. You understand? Roughly paraphrasing. So on a deeper level, hey, we forgot the laws of our God. Okay? We forgot the laws of our God. And this exactly is what's going on today. This is exactly what we're reading about that happened in this time period during the Greek Empire, during the Grecian Empire. Okay? Let's read on. Verse number 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, of the king, and said he should die. In the self-same manner, he wrote heed to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judea to sacrifice city by city. Then may the people would gather unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land. And they committed evils in the land. And it all started with the wickedness of the so-called white man. And this is why we hate the so-called white man, because his wickedness have fully polluted the whole earth. Okay? For he have completely turned this world upside down. The things that they push on the media, the things that they push on the social media, the things that they push with being their image is completely perverse. Okay? And the point of me bringing this out is when you get this wisdom that you can read about it in the scriptures, you got to move circumspectly. But, oh, that's what they doing? I mean, I ain't getting down with that, man. Because the Lord said you got to come out of this world in the book of 1 John. Okay? You got to come out of this world. You got to realize the abominations that they have set up even until this day, and you have to move opposite. Okay? You see the abomination, you have to literally move to the right. Spiritually and physically. Okay? Okay, you walk into the restaurant, you see the abominations that they cooking back there, you smell the abominable savior of those sacrifices and those idols. You have to literally profane yourself from those things. Okay? Now let's read on. It says, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee from secure. Now the 15th day of the month of Caslu, 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judea on every side. So this is your abomination of desolation, okay? Your abomination of desolation for the first one, because this is going to be a video series, Lord willing. The first one is how you have the so-called white man during the Grecian Empire literally doing all manner of wickedness, perverting the laws, homosexuality in the temple, okay? Hey, burning swine's flesh on the temple, not praying, not reading. Our people forsook all these things, and they went to the ways of the so-called white man. During this time with the Grecian Empire, you can look it up. This is really where the Olympics first started. Right, in the Olympics, it started with a so-called white man wanting to wrestle with each other butt naked. And you can look this up to where, though, the Grecian Empire, they were majorly known for their homosexuality. You understand? Now, I say that to only touch on the manner of perverseness and wickedness that the so-called white man was really into. Okay, and it's the exact same thing with today. We already read Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. The Lord told you that which hath been is that which shall be done. Okay, there's no new thing under the sun. So just like I touched on earlier, how these so-called white people, they're going to inherit the traditions. Okay, they're going to do the same things that their forefathers did. Hey, they're still doing it today. But even nowadays here in America, it's on a real high level. So when you tell me, hey, they doing this behind closed doors. Hey, these so-called Freemasons, they doing this behind closed doors. These rich elites, they doing this behind closed doors. These governors, these mayors, and these priests, and these damn pastors, and these damn presidents, they doing this behind closed doors. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to believe you. Because the Lord told you, matter of fact, we're going to hold that in 1 Maccabees. Let's go to the book of Revelation chapter 18. Revelation chapter 18 verse 2 says, and he cried mightily with a voice strong, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay? So when the Lord told me, hey, every unclean spirit is here, every foul spirit is here, and all manner of wickedness is going to be polluting this land until it reach up into the heavens. When the Lord told me this, hey, I believe it, brother. Hey, you telling me they doing homosexuality by the massive amounts behind closed doors, brother, I believe it. When you tell me, hey, they doing all types of blood sacrifices behind closed doors, hey, to get it rich in this society, you gotta really get down with the Illuminati and all these other things. Hey, brother, I believe it. The Lord has really set this man up to do these things just to set them up so they can be utterly destroyed. So you can't tell me the Lord not mad in these last days. You can't tell me the so-called white man not the devil in these last days. When you got all types, you got the MK Ultra, you got the SARS, you got the damn predictive programming, you got all manner of wickedness that the so-called white man get into. Okay, you got his pharmaceutical industry. You understand? You got his science. You got his NASA or his NACA. You understand? You got all of these other things. The things that the so-called white man has set up is the same things and the same amount of wickedness and abominations that they was working on during the Grecian Empire. Now, your first abomination of desolation will literally be them coming in and destroying the altar and doing all manner of wickedness to it. Okay? You got the pork juices all over the place, along with their fornication juices all over the place. If you got ears to hear, which is all manner of wickedness and abominable things in the damn. It's wicked, man. This is why Esau is wicked. Okay, this is why we hate the so-called white man. He not gonna make it. This is what the scriptures say about him. Okay, let's go to the book. This is his history, man. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 58 and verse 3. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. And don't nobody speak lies like the so-called white man. And he'll speak a lie, and he'll give you hand gestures, and he'll give you certain catchphrases and certain damn subliminal lines just to make his lies mingle in that golden cup. What's going to make everybody drunk. And the whole world, on a deeper level, believes the so-called white man's lies. We believe his lies that we're just black people, that they're just white people, okay? We believe his lies that when he tells us, hey, it's okay, everybody's free. Okay, we're not free, man. There's no way I should have to get up in the morning and clock in and work for your system while you sit and literally do nothing. That's literally the opposite of slavery. If you want to go direct slavery, when people hear slavery, they think about how I'm in a cotton field and I'm picking the cotton while you're literally in the master's house and you come out every once in a while to beat me. Nowadays, we wake up in the mornings and we faithfully clock in just to have a little bit of pocket change. And every once in a while, we hear about what? We hear about police brutality. We hear about unjust racial incarcerations. Okay, our people was in the massive amounts of the jails. Okay, we know about these things. It's something else. You got the oppression, which is basically just police brutality. You got our people behind the bars on a massive level. Okay, and you got all manner of wickedness that's just going on in this land. Okay, Our people were just set up to be oppressed in this society. So you can't tell me they're not wicked. You can't tell me they go left straight out the womb. And that's what the scriptures say about them. Okay? Now let's go back to the book of Daniel. Damn, when a white man, he get pulled over, he just think everything's sweet. Okay, everything's going to be okay. All right, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 8, and verse number 14. I'm going to jump down to verse number 14 in Daniel 8. So that's literally abomination and desolation for the first one. Okay, Daniel chapter 8, in verse 14. And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days. So that 200, Salakia. Let's read it again. Daniel chapter 8, verse 14. It says, and he said unto me, unto 2,000, I said 200 the first time, Salakia. It says, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. So there's 200, Salakia, I keep saying it. So there's 2,300 days. To put it in, to make it more understandable, this is 6.5 years. So this 6.5 years is really a prophecy going into how this is when the next abomination, Slakia, this is when the next abomination of desolation is going to be to come about. So basically, when you go into the prophets, you can go to Daniel chapter 7, Daniel chapter 8, you can go to 2nd Ezra chapter 7, you understand? You can go to the many prophecies, you can go to Micah chapter 5. When you go to these are prophecies about our Lord and Savior coming back. Of roughly 6.5 years, okay, roughly 2,300 days, okay. Now these prophecies tell you these are prophecies to when the next abomination of desolation is going to be set up, okay. Now what this is really talking about is how the second abomination of desolation I'm going to touch on in the next video, but to kind of give you a hint, it's talking about how this great dragon is going to make war with this woman, is going to think to destroy that woman child. Okay, and that woman child was really meant to save the whole woman and her family. If you guys are here, okay. Now we're gonna bring this out in the next video, but if you guys are here, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, that woman had a chosen child, and that chosen child was really meant to save the whole family. Okay, but this dragon, he made war with that woman's child. Okay, and that's the second one. But we're gonna stick on the first one. Okay, let's read on. It says, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Okay, so now literally before this, the sanctuary is going to be cleansed. And what is this talking about? This is talking about how right after this, you have the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, Zerubbabel, and then many others. You know, your high priests, how they got a decree from Cyrus to go and rebuild the temple, and it was then cleansed. Okay, so let's get a precept in the book of Salakia, in the book of 2nd Maccabees chapter 6. Right. Let's go to the book of 2nd Maccabees chapter 6, right? And this is when the temple was cleansed, literally. Right? In the book of 2nd Maccabees chapter 6 and verse number 1. Not long after this, the king sent old men of Athens. Let me just start at verse I'll start at verse 1. Of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and of Garizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they desire that dwell in the place. So literally, with this first sacrifice, with this first abomination of desolation, this is what they did to have our people go even more on the left-hand side, okay? This is what they did to have our people go even more on the left-hand side, and they started calling it what? Calling it Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? They started profaning it after these wicked and abominable names. You understand? These wicked and abominable false gods, okay? Now, let me get one more precept. Salakia. Let me go to the book of 1st Maccabees, chapter 4. I'm going to go to verse 62. This is the book of 1st Maccabees, Salakia, chapter 4, and verse number 52. It reads, now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up bedtimes in the morning and offered sacrifice according to the law. upon the new altering of burnt offering, of burnt offerings, which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it. Even it was declared with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals. Now, what is this talking about? Let me read one more. It says, then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the Most High of heaven, who had given them good success. So when you read on in this chapter, this is how when it's talking about, let me go back to Daniel chapter 8 and make it make sense. Daniel chapter 8 verse 14, it tells you, and he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Now the sanctuary was then cleansed with what? The feast of dedication. That's literally why we had the feast of dedication. You understand? And that's a high holy day that we celebrate. Okay? About how we got our temple back, and we actually cleansed it from the so-called white man polluting it and making it all kinds of abominable and wicked. Okay? That's why we have the feast of dedication. That's what that's about. That's what we have our menorah. That's what we have, our feast day. Okay? We get together and we rejoice. Accompanied with that, you also have the destruction of Nicanor. Okay? We learned about these things. Now that's going to be your feast of dedication from what? From the first abomination of desolation. During what time? During the Greek Empire. Okay? Now, this is what makes the so-called white man so wicked. That the Lord allowed us to, go through what we went through and allow them to make it desolate and abominable. And we had to build it up back through the spirit, through war. Okay? And on a deeper level, the Lord is going to come back and make war, and he's going to make intercession and war with us. And then we're going to have it built back up. And that's the third one. Okay? The third abomination of desolation will be us being destroyed. Okay? And we're going to bring that out in a different video, because this is going to be a video series, Lord willing. Now, when we build that one up, that's going to be what? That's going to be us being built up back when the Lord come back. Okay? Now, let me get a precept in the book of Obadiah, man, because you can't tell me that the so-called white man is not wicked. And now when you learn this, when you can apply this knowledge to your day-to-day life, man. When you can apply this knowledge, you can think about all the wickedness that his forefathers created. You can think about all the wickedness that he just dabbed into subliminally behind closed doors. The so-called white man don't give a damn about you at all. No matter how much of a raise he give you, no matter how many smiles he put in your face, he do not care about you, brother. You can never forget that. Because his lies is going to be smooth as brother, especially when he see them fringes. Especially when he see that sword hanging out your back pocket. Especially when he see Yahweh across your chest. Okay? Especially when he see these things. Especially when you leave out the house and you got the menorah on your chain, man. Just dripping. Okay? Dripping with the salt. Dripping with the light. Dripping with the commandments and all manner of righteousness. The Lord put in the so-called white man's spirit to never trust you, man. I mean, to never have his favor in his eyes. Have your favor in his eyes. Okay? Now let's go to the book of Obadiah, verse 2. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Just like I was just talking about, we're greatly despised among these heathen. We're greatly despised amongst the so-called white man. No matter how much smiles he put in your face, man, he don't care about you. You think the people that own the record labels and own the higher ups in the society, you think they care about you? But when you listen to the music that they promote through those rappers, it's literally all manner of sin, folly, and madness. But here it is, you think the so-called white man care about you. Here it is, you think the so-called white man care about you, but you listen to the music that he promote through our own people as literally talking about the further oppression of our people. Look at the drugs they rap about. Look at the killing, the adultery, the massive amount of murder, the all manner of sin that they rap about, man. The damn scamming just to get you in jail. Look at all of these things that they rap about on the left-hand side, and they literally promote it through the hands of our people. And we're so indoctrinated that we just think that this is the way to go. This is what's cool, okay? We're greatly despised. Read verse 3. The proud of that heart, the proud of the so-called white man's heart, man. He is so proud, it's beyond me. Okay? Then what so-called white man is going to be so proud forever and ever, you're never going to be able to search out these things. Why? Because the Lord put it in their spirit to do so. Reading on. The proud in thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. Right? And the so-called white man's habitation is literally high. Okay? Look at it. Their habitation is literally high. They live in the top of these buildings. Okay. This is how you know it's talking about the so-called white man. Okay. And even on a spiritual level, and the so-called white man, he faring sumptuously, man. He got all the billions. He got all the millions, man. Meanwhile, what? We at the bottom of society. Okay? Let's read on. It says, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Okay? It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. Right? It says, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So at the end of the day, the Lord is going to bring the so-called white man down. And I kind of linked in like it was a secret. Man, that's the secret. At the end of the day, it's not a secret at all. Because the Lord said we're going to lift up the skirt of this nation. So I'm going off. Y'all got to rebuke me. Right? It's not a damn secret, man. It's not a damn secret that the so-called white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. It's not a damn secret that this kingdom and this society is going to be thrown down. And if you don't come to the knowledge of the Lord and understand through these abominations and desolations, we can come to the realization like, okay, this is the devil. We cannot choose none of his ways. Hey, you're going to be destroyed along with it. Okay? Let's go back to the book of Revelation, chapter 18. Because I touched on it, let's go back to it again. Beautiful chapter through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. It's lucky. That's the book of Revelation, chapter 18, and verse number 3. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth had committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. I'm jumping down to verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Now, what inspired this breakdown is how you can read about how the so-called white man, he does so many iniquities behind closed doors, man. Only if I can damn utter it. There's so much knowledge and wisdom that you can learn about things that the so-called white man do behind closed doors when nobody's watching, to keep them rich, to keep people oppressed. Man, imagine that. How you can be this rich, and people know roughly how rich you are, but then we turn our eyes from the TV, and we still see our people in the hoods and the ghettos and the slums. But yet, this so-called white man is gonna make it. Our people have been it's common knowledge that the government has sent out sicknesses to plague only our people. You understand? During the Jim Crow, we got the Jim Crow laws, the damn Tuskegee experiment. We got all of these things. We got the vaccine chiefly targeting our people. Okay, we got these things chiefly targeting our people, but yet, guess what? They still think the so-called white man can be saved, man. But the Lord said, hey, guess what? Their iniquities have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. So if you believe in the scriptures, you gotta start searching out and be like, hold up, what is this talking about? What is this talking about? Okay, what are they actually doing? What are they actually doing that's exceedingly polluting the whole earth and reaching it up into the heavens? Okay, let's read that again. For her sins have reached unto the heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. At the end of the day, the Lord is going to remember the iniquities of the so-called white man. He's going to remember the iniquities that we had to live through. Okay? Let's go to the book of 2 Kings. Let's go to the book of 2 Kings. Chapter 17. Chapter 14 and verse 7. This is the book of 2 Kings. Chapter 14 and verse number 7. He slew of Edom. He slew of Edom. In the valley of Salt, 10,000, and took Salah by war, and called the name of it Jokil unto this day. So now this is talking about Jehoahaz, okay? Now, but the point is, hey, we're gonna get back to this time when we're slaying Edom, when we're putting Edom to death, when we're putting Edom to bed, okay? When we turning Edom TV off, when we damn wiping their nose, when we baking Esau birthday cake. We're gonna be getting back to this time, man. We're going to be getting back to the time when we on top as a nation and these other nations going to subdue themselves under us, man. And this is the prophecies that the Lord has spoken through his prophecies, through his prophets. And this is the testimony that the Lord got going out in these last days. Damn Esau TV getting turned off, man. Damn Edom cake is getting baked through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. And they can't do nothing about it, man. There's nothing they can do about it. Okay? There's nothing they can do about it. They just gonna have to take it. They can kind of take it on the chin. You know what I mean? Why? Because thus saith the Lord. Okay, let's get my last precept in the book of Micah chapter 2 and verse 10, man. The so-called white man not gonna make it, man. And if you're not really crying for the multitudes of iniquities of your people and the sorrows and the oppression, man, the Lord not really dealing with you for real. This is the book of Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with the sword destruction. So we gotta come out of this place. We could have went back to Revelation chapter 18 verse 4 and say, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins and of her blood, of her plagues, man. Because this plague will be plagued with 10 times worse plagues than what we can read about in Egypt. Okay, so we gotta rise and depart. We gotta be like, okay, this is the first abomination of desolation. Let me maneuver this way. Okay, let me not choose none of his ways. Let me make myself known what they're gonna come at me with during Jacob's trouble. Let me make myself known what they're really doing behind closed doors, so I can move with wisdom. And okay, the Lord spoke this by the prophet Daniel and fulfilled it during the time of the Maccabees during the Grecian Empire. And this is my abomination desolation chapter, the first abomination desolation. Okay, let me move with wisdom. Okay, this is how you gotta move in these last days, with all manner of wisdom. And with that, call me inshallah. Ahabatam akiyam wa aqwa. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Shalom.